We're going to be talking about business books today. I'll explain how to write one and why to write one and all of that. Let me give you a quick business lesson and explain why a book is a helpful tool for business. Business is this: what problem do you solve and how do you do it uniquely? Okay, that's it. This is what business is. So business is just solving problems. If you have this person that's sad, I have a problem, and then they go through your business, they're happy because they solved their problem. In exchange for a ticket to your problem-solving machine, they give you money. That's all businesses. Do you help someone solve their problem? Then you have a business. Can someone buy your book? Do you own the copyright? Yes, you're published. Same with business. Do I have a business? Can someone pay you for a service? There's an advanced version like SaaS or PaaS software or platform, even entertainment. You pay for it because it's a service. Here's $50 for the ticket. A product is a physical product. Some combine products and services like restaurants and that kind of stuff. How to make business presentations. What is the problem you're solving for how to make business presentations? What's the real problem? Let's use Nancy as the case study. Nancy says how to make business presentations. What's the problem? You got to analyze and deconstruct. What is the actual problem? Is the problem I don't know how to make business presentations? That's not really the problem. I call this an advanced copywriting tool, the rumination test. Think about the rumination test. You're thinking about a problem that worries you, keeps you up at night. How many times does a business owner, a business presentation, or someone working for a company wake up and they're like, oh my God, I don't know how to make a business presentation? Do you think that's what they're worried about? What they're worried about is why. You always want to ask why. If you get to the baseline psychology, why are they doing a business presentation? Bottom line, revenue, conversion rates, which is revenue, or they're trying to maybe raise some money and it's a pitch deck presentation, whatever it may be. So that's what they're really worried about. They're worried about, am I going to make payroll? Am I going to be able to pay my bills? Am I going to grow my company? Why care about that? Am I going to have to fire people or take care of family? It's always deeper. You ask why. It's not about the business presentation. This goes for everything. Whatever you're doing, there's some kind of deeper, you ask, why do I even care about that? You got to be a philosopher, psychologist, or therapist. Why do I care? I care about the revenue. Why do I care about revenue? I don't want to fire my employees. Why do I care about that? I care about people. Why do I care about that? I want to take care of my family. So you get down to the baseline thing. The problem we're solving is helping companies make more revenue. If you remember the question, what problem do we solve? We help with revenue, but for whom? Who are we talking about? We're doing business presentations, but for environmental consultants. Let me do a side lesson. I promise this is going to make sense for business books. I'm going to translate this to business books. Just trust me. But you got to understand why we're doing what we're doing first. Environmental consultants is niche. Do you know what this decides? Have you thought about capital raising? There's something called TAM. Do you know what this means? What does TAM mean in business? The total addressable market, the biggest total addressable market in the world is world dynamic. The total addressable market means the total amount of money spent on it in the world. What's the biggest industry? One of the top five, but the number one, the sneaky one, insurance. Insurance is number one. Banking is number two. What's something everyone uses? Sell. Sell is very high, top 10. Think of commodities, oil and gas, essentially, power. Energy, real estate, medical is 5 or 6. So these are big markets. You know what a commodity is? Commodity is sold in terms of weight. Gold, silver, iron, copper, food like salmon. The number one agriculture product in terms of total addressable market. The top 3 are all illicit drugs. Poppy seeds for heroin, cocaine, and marijuana. Shows why cartels are so important. But anyways, we don't need to get political. But the tomatoes is actually the highest for legal. Tomatoes and then potatoes and then corn. So you get the idea. This total addressable market is how big the market is. And whenever you're choosing the market, what is the advantage of going niche? Why do you know that? I study business all the time. I have a company that helps people raise money, so I'm always figuring out total addressable markets for different industries. What's the advantage of a niche versus broad? All business owners is broad. The total addressable market for environmental consultants that need business presentation is super small. Business presentations for everyone, every business owner, every salesperson, it's not even business owners, honestly. How many people have to give presentations for their business? Almost all white collar employees at some point. So they're not even close. What's the advantage of going niche? I do AI email automations for landscapers in Miami versus any AI automation for any business. Try to translate everything through an income statement, revenue minus cost of goods sold, and then you get gross profit, and you say minus marketing, minus operations, payroll equals net profit. This is an income statement. This is the profit and loss sheet. This is like the only thing that matters. Minus taxes equals EBITDA. This is how you do. If I have a niche audience, what does that help with? Does it help with revenue, reduce my cost of goods sold, reduce my marketing, operations, payroll, marketing? Why does niche reduce your marketing expense? You can target them for sure. With marketing, you target, then you have your offer for that target. We can have a more specific offer. What does that do? It clearly defines the problem. So what does that do? But what it does, like a basic sales funnel, your hook is specific. So if your hook is specific and you have less competition and you're clearly defining, imagine an ad. Hey, is your name Nancy from Hawaii and building a business to help environmental specialists? If you need help, talk to me. I'm environmental specialist coaching consultant.com for Hawaii. All of a sudden, Nancy's, holy shit, what is this? This is exactly me. What are the odds Nancy's not going to click on that ad? It's almost too creepy. You get my point. The more specific it is, the more people are going to raise their hand and they're like, wait, that's me. Yeah, I do have that problem. This is for people in Hawaii. And it'd be crazier. Gary Vee teaches if you have a local service, you should be, hey, are you a baseball coach from Miami? Then I am a baseball coach from Miami. The congruency of the messaging is so extreme. What are the metrics you need to understand as a business owner? Cost per, what's the top for marketing? There's a bunch of cost per something. The top one is CPM. What does that stand for? CPM is cost per 1,000 views. Yeah. CPC is cost per click, like website visitor, cost per lead. Someone filled out a form. You have their email, cost per acquisition, CPA means a buyer. Some call this cost of acquiring a customer. These are the things that you're going to track. Average order value, how much they buy, lifetime value. These are the marketing things to pay attention to. Cost per view, cost per click, cost per lead, cost per acquisition, average order value, lifetime value. Memorize these. This is how you build a business. If you're a real estate agent, how much does it cost to get in front of 1,000 people? They buy billboards on park benches. There's a cost per 1,000 views. You can reverse engineer it. How many people per day are going to see this? And then how many of them are going to do the QR code to actually go to my website? And then how many of them are going to connect with me and fill out information? How many of them are going to buy a house? What's the average size of the house that they're going to buy, which is going to be my commission on that? And then do they refer me to friends, buy another house? Even with real estate, this applies. This applies to e-commerce and selling jets, attention, interest, and opted in, permission. Then it's actually buying. And then how much do they buy? And do they buy again? This is crucial to every business, restaurants. What happens at every stage in the funnel? Attention, interest, desire, action. This is kind of like a copywriting framework. You have drop off. What does drop off mean? It means that fewer people go to the next stage. If you have 1,000 people view it, maybe 20 people click. If you have 20 people that click, how many people are going to actually give you their email? Maybe 5. And then out of the 5, how many are going to buy? Maybe 1 or 2 people buy. And so then you can reverse engineer the math. There's a drop off, but the opposite is your conversion rate. What's the conversion of the number of people that go from one step to the next? Everyone understand this? So back to marketing, you have better targeting. Hopefully this is a little advanced, but this is really important. If you're niche, if you're smaller, you have better targeting, a more congruent offer. But if you have a more congruent offer for that specific target, what's going to increase? Connection, revenue. Ultimately, your drop off is quantified in terms of your conversion rate. If you have a more targeted audience and a targeted offer for a particular person, your conversion rate is going to go up at every step because everyone's, oh yeah, that's for me. The percentage of people that go from one step to the next is going to be much higher in a very niche offer. Totally fine if you don't understand it, but this is deeply important to understand. A lot of people online make money online, guru people are like, if you're new, you should start with local, start with plumbers in Cleveland. Your targeting is easier, your offer is easier, and your conversion rate is going to be easier. If I'm the AI guy, marketing guy, leadership guy, staffing guy, or whatever, if it's something big, or I can sell you lawnmower guy, if it's broad, you're going to end up competing on price or your reputation. If you're new, you can't compete on reputation. You know the show The Office, Dunder Mifflin. What were they always competing against? They're always competing against the big box guys, the big paper guys, Staples or some huge company. And what would they always say? What was Dunder Mifflin's like pitch? Because they couldn't compete on price. How would they compete? Quality of something specific. They didn't have better paper. They all had the same paper. So not quality of paper, quality of what? Customer service, which is what? It's local. You have my phone number. You can call me. I'll come down. I'll deliver the thing myself. That was their pitch, right? So they never, you're just a number to them. They don't care. They'll change the contract. You can call me and on a Saturday, I'll deliver the paper to your, obviously it's a joke, but it's not really a joke. The business lesson is actually good. If you're local, it's easier to convert because people are, oh, I'm working with this person. If you're brand new and going to the local gym with your business, then what you say is, you think Alex gives a shit about you? He does $100 million a year. He's got 400 employees, 1,000 clients. He doesn't give a shit about you. He's not paying attention. He's not going to email you back. Alex is so good, but you're never working with Alex. You're working with the guy who reports to the guy who reports to the guy who reports to the guy of Alex. Why are you buying Alex thinking you're buying Alex when you're buying one of his 400 employees? Whereas if you work with me, I'm your guy. I have 3 clients and I'm with you. You have your reason for existing, your avatar you're selling to. How do you do it uniquely? Differentiating factor, that's correct. Some call it a moat, meaning your defense. I call it the UVP. Some call it a USP. These acronyms don't really matter, but they give you a unique selling proposition. I like saying value proposition because it's psychologically nicer. This is the value I give. Are you the fastest, best customer support, most niche, most local, most white glove, best, cheapest? Are you, there's a million ways. Do you have high status? Like fancy fashion brands, their value proposition isn't necessarily quality. Their value proposition is people, some people will think you're rich or something. That is what it is. You got to be aware, why should someone use your service instead of your competitors? You better have a damn good answer. If you don't, it's almost unethical to have your business because you're tricking people into buying a worse product. You can't ethically and confidently sell something that you can't argue why this product is better than the competitors. You're lying to the universe. It's okay if the answer is, I'm gonna work harder than them. You don't have to build some perfect whatever. It's just, you just have to articulate it to yourself. It could be, I'll work harder than the other guys. And if I come across a problem, I'll solve it for you, or I'm cheaper, or whatever it may be. It's okay. But you got to have some reason. So this is unique value proposition, unique selling proposition. The reason why a business book is interesting, it's really powerful, but it's difficult to write. And the reason why, how is a business book organized? A business book is, there's a chapter, and the chapter is the same thing as nonfiction. I've said this a million times. There's a story, and then there's a thesis, and then there's evidence / other stories, and then there's the nuts and bolts, the how-to, then there's inspiration, like you can do it, and then there's a segue to next chapter. This is all nonfiction, guys. Chapter 1, and that's it. So you have your main story, and then you're, hey, this is the point of the story. And then you say, oh, you don't trust the story? Let me tell you other stories and give you other evidence. And then let me explicitly tell you what you need to do. And I know you think this is too hard, but it's not. You can do it because I believe in you and blah, blah, blah. You remember the 6 objections? It's not worth the price, not worth the effort or time. I don't trust salesperson. I don't trust the company. I don't trust the product or service. And 6 is I don't trust myself. The snowflake objection. No, I'm the exception. And my life is so much different than everyone else in the world. And that's why it won't work for me. The trust objection is why you have inspiration. You're inspiring people that you can do it. Story, thesis, evidence, other stories, nuts and bolts. How do you do it? Inspiration, segue to next chapter. Now that we solved this problem, we have a new problem. Let's talk about that in the next chapter. I've said this a million times. You can use the nonfiction writer and it'll do everything. The hard part is not writing it. If you follow the outline wizard for nonfiction and you give it decent prompts, you're going to have a first draft. It's fine. That's not the problem. The problem with a business book is it's meta. Metaphysics, when something is meta. I know it's a fancy word, but it's one of my favorite words. Meta means self-referential, like a thing within a thing. The problem with writing a business book is a solution to a business problem. It's a productized version of a solution to a business problem. You're like, oh, is all of your employees quitting, or you can't find good employees? Oh, here's my leadership book, or here's my hiring book, or here's my outsourcing book. It's probably because your sales script sucks. Here's my sales book, script writing book, copywriting book. Is your business burning capital? It's probably because your ads are bad. Here's my Facebook ads book, my YouTube book. There's some business problem, which all translate to your income statement. People care about their income statement. How do you spend less on marketing? How do you spend less on payroll? How do you make more revenue? There's not that many problems to solve. How do you oh my God, you're making so much profit. You're paying a lot in taxes. How do you pay less taxes? The crazy thing is that this niche down to every industry. I could do a local real estate for Dallas Facebook ad book. How to run ads for real estate agents in Dallas on Meta. I can write that book. The problem, and this is why a lot of people don't write business books, is because the business book itself is a business. Your business is helping other businesses. So you need to understand your business, but you also need to understand that business or that type of business to a point that you know that type of business well, that you can see the matrix of that industry, figure out whatever problem you can help them solve, and then create a business helping that business. B2B is harder because you have to be essentially an expert of your own business and your own tactics and your own operations, skills, marketing. You have to understand how to help people in a specific industry. So it's double the work. The business book is a tool if you're able to articulate how you can help their business. Your business book is usually a lead magnet for additional services. The odds of making $1 million off of your book alone is very low. But the odds of you writing a book, which increases your authority, increases the conversion rate of people that want to work with you, and that also acts as a lead magnet for people that want to buy your additional products and services, is very high. The thing that matters is the presentation. You want to make more sales for your business? You should really focus on your presentation. Reverse engineer your marketing, your funnel, all from your presentation. In fact, when I have clients that I help them raise money, I always say, we got to do your pitch deck. Why? Because you can reverse engineer a lot from your pitch deck. If sales aren't going well, focus on your presentation. It's not just a presentation, it's a presentation for consultants. That example she gave was environmental consultants. What additional products and services can she sell? A template for presentations, a done-for-you service where she charges like $1,000 to do the presentation. But then she could also maybe have a high-ticket offer where there's a training. It's not only will we do the presentation for you, but we'll train your team. She has two types of training. Maybe she has a virtual training, and that's $2,000 for the day or something. Or if you want Nancy to literally fly to you and give an in-person virtual training, then that's $5,000. There's an in-person version. And then maybe it's, okay, I don't want the whole training. Can you come speak at my conference? So then she has a speaking thing where she charges $2,000 for her speaking. And so her book is, this is why, again, it gets meta, it gets kind of self-referential, because it's, oh, I'll teach you how to make good presentations so your company can make more money. Buy the book for $19, she makes $10. But more importantly, if you want to use my templates, that's $100. If you want me to build it for you, that's 500. If you want training, that's 1,000. In-person training, that's 5,000. If you want me to speak at your conference, it's 2,000. Now she has a full menu of services, and the book was just the entry point. She can sell 500 books, but instead of making $5,000, if she just gets 2 or 3 extra higher ticket clients, if she has a soft CTA, casual call to actions, website, Instagram, or email me like a call to action, then all of a sudden, maybe she can make an additional $10,000 or $15,000 in high ticket sales. So this is why it's complicated, because you have your book, which is itself teaching a very complex business thing, but your book is also a lead magnet for your business, which needs products and services. Those products and services should be congruent with your unique value proposition. This is what you need to do. You have a book and you're going to sell your book for $20, but that's not the goal. You're not going to be the one thing by Gary Keller. Prove me wrong, sell 1 million copies, amazing. I want you to win. To make this make sense, you need additional products and services sold from the book. Those products and services have to be congruent with the avatar and unique value proposition of who you are serving. Writing the book is the easy part. It's funny, I've given copywriting courses and workshops, and I'll talk about actual copywriting for maybe 15, 20% of it. I thought you were going to teach me the magic trick where if you use the word blah, 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 you're going to make $1 million. The trick is to understand the concept, the idea, and to understand the system. And if you do that and you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, then the writing is easy. What is Gary Keller's funnel? The biggest real estate guy, private real estate company in the world, in the country, Keller Williams. His funnel is all his real estate agents. Ironically, he didn't write about real estate. The one thing is about productivity. Stay disciplined, don't get shiny object syndrome, focus on one thing. The domino effect, a domino can knock over a domino 50% bigger. In 50 dominoes, you could have a 1-inch domino. 50 dominoes later, you could knock over the Empire State Building. Do the right thing, the next right thing every day, then you can move a lot faster. People that are really effective, it's not necessarily because they're working harder, they're working on the right thing, focusing on the next most important thing. He talks about a success list, the 3 things you need to do, and how to-do lists are bad. It's a good book about productivity. It's not anything super revelatory, but the story that he uses are from his own life or real estate agency. This is a tricky way of soft selling your services by talking about stories from your own perspective in your own business. People are like, he must be good at real estate because all of his stories are about him growing this real estate empire. And then you're, oh, damn, after you read the book, he's not directly saying, use my real estate agency. He wasn't using it as a lead magnet, but it was very subtle. But a lot of people probably started using Gary Keller because they read that book and they're like, oh my God, if he owns that company, then I bet the real estate agents for that company are very good. It's a more subtle, not a direct ClickFunnels, book funnel kind of thing. But nonetheless, he did use stories from his own life as opposed to stories from other people's lives. And as a consequence, he's building up his authority. If you're building your authority, any call to action is going to be much more, the conversion rate is going to be much higher. When writing the book and giving business advice, use examples. Not every example has to be from your own life and businesses. You can use a lot of them. And that way, when you have a call to action, you're more likely to make the sale. You have your unique selling proposition or unique value proposition. Some call it unique selling point. It's the uniquely part. Are you the fastest, the best? You came up with your own system. Why should anyone buy from you and not from anyone else? Whatever the answer is, that's your unique selling proposition. Hone in on that. Most businesses, do you know what their unique selling proposition is? Their unique value proposition is? Most. Local. If they don't have one they can articulate. Most people are not self-aware. Even business owners. My friends said I'm good at making pizza, so I started a pizza shop. Or my dad was blah, blah, blah. People zombie through the world. People aren't self-aware.